Hello, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Club. Hi, thank you for watching the video podcast today. Man, how's it going, everybody? Well, I decided that I was going to do the podcast today with this painting here as the background because it has a few. When I sat here and watched and studied the painting a little bit, it reminded me of some things that goes on in my life in the world of recovery and addiction, and it was pretty cool picture. I mean, let me move so you can check this out. And as you see right here, you could see the this woman that's here in the picture. You got this veteran soldier over here on this side, and you got over in that corner over there. You have a car and some cigarettes, a cup of coffee, some Mexican bread. And on this side, you have this this beer can, and then a little picture of a barbiturate of a drug of some sort, and then you have a picture of a what looks to me like a grenade with a pin and a purple heart. And what is cool about this is that I decided that when I saw this thing, it reminded me of. It was kind of a trigger in a sense of the addiction and the homelessness and stuff. And I sat here, thinking about it, and I'm like, man, I'm just like, well, how many times in my life have I, because what it looks like here is that it looks like either the woman or the soldier is thinking about the life they've had, and that maybe they've hurt somebody, maybe that they're feeling like a ticking time bomb because of that grenade that's there. Maybe they're feeling, something that maybe this drugs and alcohol and the cigarettes had, it's pouring over him and the woman, and whether it's his mom, whether it's his girlfriend, whether it's his wife, who knows, but. It's almost sending a message saying that these things that I consumed, these things that I put into my life have hurt these people, which is him and the woman. And it's like almost, to me, it's saying that maybe he has no way out but to use that grenade or because it also looks like the woman possibly could have been, injured through the side of her head or something. I don't know. It's kind of a dark but meaningful picture, I think. And and I relate to it because when I see the Mexican bread up there, it to me seems that this person here, this soldier, is probably a Chicano. And me being a Chicano and a veteran also, it kind of hit home a little bit. And I started thinking, I was like, man. In my life, how many times did the drugs and the alcohol have an effect on my wife, on my daughters, on just anybody that I cared for, you know what I mean? And it is it also is almost like a trigger in a sense, I sit here and I'm just sitting on this bench and just looking at that picture, and then I'm like, being an addict, an addict mind is cunning and baffling, man, and it'll get you to start thinking of the things, and it kind of wants to talk you into doing things that perhaps you maybe, you shouldn't do, but it is a reminder in a sense of where I've been and where I've came from and where I'm at now, and it is really a message of just that, and I'm here decided that I was going to do this autoclass video here with this picture because I want to let people know that there's a lot of homeless veterans who are out there on the street who are addicted to drugs, who got nowhere to go, and not only veterans but other people too, you know what I mean? And there's ways to get out of it. I'm here to tell you that there can be a solution to your dark problem wherever you're at in that. And for me personally, I was in the world of addiction and homelessness, and not knowing in the early parts of my days that I had this neurological brain disease in the form of childhood traumatic experiences, PTSD, depression, um, drug addiction. I had no idea all of those types of things were connected to some problem mentally that I had due to, things that happened in my life. And, I wondered why I, had to drink excessively when I drank. I wondered why I had to have more drugs when I did them. I wasn't that guy who would, go to a family function and only, dabble for about an hour and then go home. No, I had to stay there and do it until it was done and then try to keep on moving forward and getting more and more and more. And, I was the last guy standing all the time wondering, man, I'm sitting here doing this, lying in coke by myself and drinking this beer and, everybody's gone. But I didn't think there was a problem with that. And, because I grew up that way. I mean, I had my first drink of alcohol and my first use of drugs in the form of marijuana when I was in the first grade. So this was something that I was, that I was accustomed to throughout my whole life. It was every time in every place, that everything that we did when I was a kid, there was always drugs and alcohol involved. All the males in my family drank. They drank and some of them did drugs. And my father was one of them. And so to me, it was a normal thing to do. And I had no idea that it could lead to having a disease. And, as I got older and been through a few rehabs and stuff like that, I've been to about 3 rehabs since, I was young and up until I'm an adult now today. But I'm here to tell you that there is help. There's a way to stay recovered. There's a way to get out of that loneliness, out of that homelessness, out of the drug addiction, out of the anger, out of the anxiety, out of the depression, out of the PTSDs. There's ways that you can climb out of those darkness, out of the darkness and into the light. And for me, is I do these videos so that I could share what has helped me along the way, so I could share some of my stories that I have gone through, so that maybe it resonates with somebody and it helps somebody get on that first rung of the ladder to get out of the world of darkness and into the world of positivity and recovery. And I am, grateful to be here doing these videos clean and sober here today. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for that. Because one day I was in the full-blown addiction and I had gotten tired of it. I can just remember being in a park, waiting, being a lookout for somebody that I know that was doing drugs, and they had to shoot their drugs up before, we moved on. And I'm sitting there being a lookout and I'm thinking to myself, that day I just remember thinking, man, what is wrong with you? Why are you here? What are you doing? This is broad daylight and you're sitting here being a lookout for somebody to shoot up, and then you can do your shit. I mean, what kind of life is that? And I can remember that day arguing with the girl that I was with at the time, and arguing about stupid stuff, you know what I mean? And how, it wasn't enough drugs, but you're still sitting there doing them, and you're sitting there being the lookout so that you could do yours afterwards. I mean, I was just, it kind of just hit me. And I can remember that day just, crying out to God and saying, man, please help me. Get me out of here. I'm tired of living this way. I'm tired of living in the tents. I'm tired of living under a bridge. I'm tired of sleeping on a park bridge. I'm tired of sleeping in somebody's garage. I'm tired of sleeping in the motels. I'm tired of selling drugs to do drugs. I'm tired of it. And lo and behold, the next day I get pulled over, I get incarcerated, and my journey of recovery starts. When you ask and you have that spiritual awakening, it's not always going to be the way you want it. And for me, it wasn't. But I'm glad that it happened. And I'm glad that I'm sitting here and I'm able to tell you these stories like this, clean and sober today. Because if you would have told me that I was going to be here doing a podcast on homelessness and recovery and addiction a year ago, I would have told you were crazy. And, by no means is it an easy road. But if you do it the same way you do the addiction, on a daily, repetitive, continuous basis like that, then it gets easier. I thought that how is my life going to get any better than than how do I get out of the darkness? And I got incarcerated. I went to a rehab center for about 60, 70 days, and my life started turning around. I really started remembering the things that had helped me with, in one stint of sobriety that I had. At one point in my life, I was sober for 10 years, and I could remember that time. I'm sitting in my second rehab, and I'm listening to somebody talk at this, alumni meeting, and this guy is telling this story, and I'm like, man, why this guy's story? It sounds like me. It sounds like he's talking about me. I mean, why? And I start thinking, I was like, why is this guy who has gone through exactly the same things that I have gone, why is he standing up here so happy? Why is he standing up here like he's got no worries anymore? Like his life is just A-okay. How come? What is it that I'm not doing right? And from that day forward, that day I decided, you know what, I'm going to do what that guy's doing. Whatever he's got, I need some of that. And I talked to that guy, and he told me exactly how he did it. And they were exactly what he was sharing in his stories. And when I did what he did, and it kept me clean for 10 years. It kept me clean for 10 years. And here's the deal, is that when you do something that's keeping you clean on a repetitive basis every single day, that's what it's going to do. It's going to keep you there. But make no mistake, if you get complacent, if you stop doing the things that are keeping you there, then it just takes one time. And that's what happened to me. I was clean for 10 years, and I thought I could handle it. And one day I'm sitting at a place watching a basketball game and drinking a soda, and I run into somebody that I know, and next thing you know, we're back at his house, and the guy, offers me to smoke something out of a bolo, and I said no at first. I was just giving this dude a ride home, and he just happened, oh man, just get off with me, shoot the shit for a little while, and I did. And I knew what was happening after that. You know what I mean? But as an addict, the mind is cunning and baffling, and it talks you into doing, it'll talk you into it. And I sat there and I denied the first time, and the next time, and then on the third time, and I'm thinking, man, you know what, it's just one time, no big deal. And I hit it. And I hit it every morning for the next 5 years. I relapsed that day. After being sober for 10 years, I relapsed that day, and I stayed in relapse for 5 years after that. And, I'm here to tell you that it can happen for you if it happened for me. One day I just got tired, and I had a spiritual awakening in the sense that I asked God, man, I'm done, please help me. And it's one thing that you have to do. You have to be hopeful, you got to be open-minded, you got to be willing for the change. Because if you're not, and you're not willing to do that, well then, my friends, you're not going to be able to get there. And I don't tell you these things. I cut it raw and let you know how it is, because I've been there and I've done that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that if you open up a book of NA or AA, that your life is going to start changing, out of right immediately. But it's not. If you go to a meeting, it's not going to change immediately. But I tell you what, this is true and factual here, and by my own experience, if you keep going back and you do it on a daily basis, and you do the things that kept you sober the day before on the daily basis, and you keep doing it repetitive, just like you repetitively kept getting high and high and high, if you keep doing that, then I can guarantee you your life will start getting easier and it'll start changing, because it has for me. And there's one statistic that is true, that no one who has ever gone and followed the programs of AA and NA has ever relapsed, ever, if they kept doing exactly what they're supposed to do, through what those books tell you to do, in those 12-step programs. And not the 12-step program is not for everybody. There's different types of programs that's for you to stay recovered. But if you do it on the repetitious basis, I guarantee you'll stay there. You'll stay in the positive world, if you stay in recovery, if you set your healthy boundaries, if you do what you're supposed to do, because you have to do the legwork. By no means is this a thing for the lazy person. You have to get up and do the legwork. That's a must. But I can guarantee you the rewards will be a whole lot better than it is if you're sitting in that world of darkness here today. But yeah, so I encourage you to do that, and that's why I do these podcasts, because if my messages, if what has helped me along the way, is my job for me to give that away to somebody else, so that somebody else can come into the world of recovery and positivity, and if I can save one person out of doing these podcast videos, well then hey, my work and my due diligence and my service work is being done. And yeah, so I like to give a shout out every now and then to a couple of the places that I go for meetings and stuff like that. So maybe if you're in the San Antonio area, if you're out in the West Side downtown area, and go to the look up the Corazon group out there, and if you're over in the north central side of town, the Club 12. If you're on the northwest side of town, the Winners Club, and if you're over in the southeast side of town, is the the Goliath Group. And I know people in all these different places, and I guarantee you they'll show you love. They won't turn you away, and if you ask for the help, you'll get it. But you have to be willing, and like my buddy Greg said at one, at these meetings that I would attend, and he'd attend these things faithfully on Fridays. He's alumni for a recovery center, Lifetime Recovery, that I was a member of. Every Friday this person's there, and Greg says one thing in his meetings, and this stays with me always. I always remember that from that guy. He says, because he heard it one time in his meeting, and he says, you know what, if you do nothing, then guess what? Nothing happens. And that's so true. If you do nothing, nothing's gonna happen. You gotta want it, you gotta be ready, you gotta be finished, you gotta be willing, you gotta be open-minded, you gotta be truthful. And yeah, so if you're ready, and look up one of those places. Google the outreach programs in your area, in your city, and I can guarantee you, if you reach out and ask for the help, you'll get it. I guarantee you. So, well, I guess that's all I got for today. I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button, send me a comment. If there's anything that you guys would like for me to talk about in the world of recovery and addiction and homelessness, feel free to leave me a comment. And yeah, so it really helped me launch a few things off that I got coming up in the near future. I got another, got another podcast that I'm going to be doing here in the near future, and it's a comical type, video and podcast that I'll be doing with the help of some friends and stuff like that. So the more people that subscribe to my channel and the more people who view my channel, the easier it will be for us to launch that stuff off. And know that if you do subscribe to my channel and leave a comment and give me a thumbs up, that you'll be helping out an addict and a homeless person somewhere around these cities, in my city, your city, in rural areas, everywhere in the United States, whoever is watching these videos. So I really appreciate the help and the support. And my goal is to reach as many people and save as many people as we can, and get them out of homelessness and the world of addiction, because it's an epidemic, it's a problem, and it's a crisis, and we are there's people dying every day. There's people dying in OD, and so yeah. So if you would please hit that button. All you got to do is tap the button. It doesn't cost you a thing, and just know that you'll be helping somebody out. So I guess that's it for now. I guess God bless you, and until the next time, on When the Smoke Clears, I am the Recovery Club.